Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth. I'm Eve. And mine's Polly.
Eve's having trouble with her eyes. She needs to go to the eye doctor.
Okay.
April Fools. Ow, they're painful.
We've tried them so often, my sticky is unsticking.
Right. We took ours off. We're just letting you look like a fool. We know it's not technically April Fool's, but it will be very soon. The day after you see this, so that's just a little April Fool's fun.
No, the day after the day after.
No, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
No, Monday.
Monday's 31st.
It is.
Today's the
See, I don't know what
29th.
it is. I don't know what it is. Okay. In a few days, it'll be April Fool's
But
Day.
before we see you again, so.
And we're a bunch of fools, so we thought it was appropriate. We hope you're doing well. Grab your craft, grab your drink, and
Settle in.
settle in.
Yep.
Eve's gonna go first today.
So, I'm still attempting to fully finish this. My duck fell off a minute ago. I tried to find a duck, I can't tell you how many times. And so I finally settled on these duck beads, and I could not find a way to put them flat this way. So he's looking down like that at the other duck. But I have more, and I was thinking of putting a row of ducks up here.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Little ducks following each other.
Yeah.
But they don't have red boots.
Oh, well, what do you do?
Wibble.
That's cute, though.
Anyway, so that is my maybe completely FFO'd FFO.
Excuse me just a second. I swallowed my soda the wrong way. Sorry.
Okay, so I started Tiny Modernist Crocodile, cute crocodile, that I got from this year's Nashville Needlework Market. And this is where I am so far. I'm going to be working on this as we sit, because I was working on this one this morning, stitching with the Housewives Snowed In Winter. And this is where I am. And it's going in timeout for a little while.
Oh, no.
So the funny thing is that on this picture, I thought these were chickens. And then I was like, but they're red. Why are there red chickens? And why are they in trees? They're cardinals. Okay, because I was like, I don't want to put those chickens on my... So I stitched this little branch over here, this one, wrong.
Because you were like, no chickens.
I was supposed to start that row directly above the row above, and I started it over one, which meant that the chicken would not be in the right spot if I left it that way. So I just added a stitch in front, and I'm going to just leave this stitch back over here because it'll be fine, I think. Yeah, there's room. Anyway, I put some, this is what I was thinking for the snowflakes that are bigger than these little snowflakes. What do you guys think?
I'm sorry, about what?
About the
Snowflake.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
You put that in yourself? You just added it? Or
No,
it was
no.
in the pattern?
It's in the pattern, but it's supposed to be white.
Oh, and you put it silver or sparkly.
I put it, well, yeah, it's kind of a silver.
I can't see the
Let me see.
thing through it. Oh, yeah.
I like it a lot
Yeah. That's nice.
with no white. I think it's
So,
cool. Looks icy.
so I'm gonna
Is this
the,
his glove or something?
no, that's his scarf
Oh, I see.
things.
I see.
I'm gonna do these big snowflakes up above like that.
Yeah.
And this little two right here, I hate those houses, but I'll put them because I thought, well, maybe I could just do the snow globe itself, but then it would look very unfinished.
Yeah.
So, and I would have to finish in the round or something.
You could put snowflakes there instead of houses. Big snowflakes
Like those?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I might do that.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, the only reason I hate the houses is I don't think little houses belong in everything. This is a snow globe. It should have. The snow globe is bigger than the houses. Okay, so this is in timeout because I was mad at the tree.
And the chickens. Don't forget the chickens.
Oh, and the red chickens. And then I did some more work on Daisy May by Station. I am
Macy
not having
Stash?
a good day here. Station Nash. Can't say it. Stacy Nash. And this is where I am.
Oh, wow.
So my thought is that if I work on this more before the month is out,
Oh, look,
Which
her
one is that?
nose.
Which one is that? Oh, that's the bunny.
That's her little nose. This pink
this
dot is
this
her
is nose and this is the
forehead.
lighter
Oh, I see.
part,
And and then this pink is
cheek.
the cheek. Yeah.
Cute.
But I'm going to go around with the bunny head color on the ears and everything. I'm going to outline it and then I can just not worry about it and stitch it in because my counting skills suck. Why do I work on counted cross stitch? Ask me. Tell me. Tell me why I do it. Because obviously math and myself are not friends. Numbers and I are not friends, and I can't count. Okay. Also, I finished a little kitty cat that's up there. Only I think I want to put an embroidery nose on it, maybe.
It's very cute.
And I finished a chicken. I haven't done the chick yet, but the chicken's done. So.
And the other things there are a little stuffy rabbit, the black and white one that I had at home, and the brown rabbit I made.
Yeah, I
a
said,
couple of years ago.
could you bring a rabbit? Because we're heading into Easter month. Not Easter, because it's
Late.
almost May this year.
Mhm.
All right, so let's talk about the weather this week. Let's talk about the weather this week. It cooled off today. It cooled off yesterday to 80s. Okay, it was like 99 one day this week.
Yeah, it was gross.
Yeah, the pink color. That pink color belongs in June. Okay, it does not belong in March.
Oh my gosh.
I'm terrified.
Yesterday was gorgeous though.
It was beautiful. As long as you didn't stand in the sun, it was great.
We had clouds at midday.
And breezes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here, even on a cold winter day, if you stand
In the sun.
in
yeah.
the sun or under a glass like in the car,
Yeah.
it gets pretty hot. I did notice that I had made a mistake this month. Last week's fish are one stitch lower than they should, and I looked at the next month that's going to go under it and decided I didn't care. So
One fish is out of line.
those fish didn't want to be next to the fish above it. Okay, now let's talk about April. So next month I am going to be concentrating on trying to finish Botanical Bee. I probably won't finish it, but I'll try. And I had thought that I would make the wings just iridescent, like I did that snowflake, but with the clear iridescent, not a silver one. Okay, I have many colors of iridescence. I have blue, I have white, I have clear, I have silver, I have red, I have green, I have black. Okay, so, oh, and I have Krynic I have copper and others. Anyway, I had thought, oh, the wings, I should use the iridescence on the wings and just make them iridescent like a bee's wings are. Okay? Sorry, you can't see what I'm holding up. Could you even see my...
Yeah, you were showing stuff.
Okay. And then I started stitching in white saying, well, but there's all those flowers on the wings, and if I did that, they would look weird. So I'm going to just stitch the iridescence over the white. I think it'll be okay like that. I think I'll like it like that. But because there's a blue line in there and all that, I don't think it would have looked like it looked in my head, you know? So now that I've settled on a path, I think I can work longer at it. Hopefully I'll get it finished because that ladybug is sitting in the wings. The other project I plan to try to finish is Robin. Oh, by the way, the last one, if you didn't know, was by hands-on design. And
this one is?
This one is Cute Patterns by Maria. I love her designs, and she appropriately named her shop because her patterns are stinking cute. This Robin, I have finished most of the red, of the hat and all that. Maybe I did finish them. I thought I had a little few spots of white, but now I'm working on the actual bird. And let's just say that, and we're not even talking about the backstitch, okay? There is backstitch almost as much as there's regular stitching. This is one of her designs that is for advanced stitchers. And so there's, 10 colors in the...
Did you dye this fabric, Eve?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That almost makes the pattern as well. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous.
Between the yellows and the browns and the whites and the tans and all that, there are tons of colors in this bird. But it is what makes the bird stand out so much. And then...
Besides the fact that he's little fat and round. I'm in love with that bird.
On TikTok, I watch these bird videos. Oh my God, they're so cute. I would never own a bird. I can't ever own a bird, but I sure love it when I see them. I know that I can't because my father-in-law had a cockatiel that used to chase me around the house.
I'm kind of afraid of him.
And
in close proximity.
Grandma Phoebe had a bird.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my new starts for, if I only do 2, my new starts for April. I'm going to start Winter Deer, which is by Tiny Modernist. And I purchased this at the Jingle Ball. It was in last year's ornament book. I didn't buy the ornament books, and I will not make it as an ornament. But, And then I'm going to do one of the Easter book patterns. I'm going to do this one. No, not that one. This one. That is a lamb carrying a cross with a crown and says he has risen.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah, Twin Peaks Primitive Easter book. It came out last Easter. This is a 32 count linen that I bought for doing a berry. A snowberry of some kind.
A lot, Eve. That's really neat.
Yeah, I like all of them, but I thought, I'm going to start with the ones that reflect my beliefs, and then I'll worry about maybe 1 or 2 bunnies. But whatever I do, I'm going to be doing on this fabric. I'll save it for those because I've stitched on linen twice. Once was a fall berry, and I loved it. And I said, linen's not so bad. And then I got this, and I don't like it. So when I do this, I will definitely be using a hoop, and
they're small, aren't they?
it's small, and that's one of the reasons why the berry isn't that big.
Yeah.
But I was stitching in hand, and it was just making me nuts because it would get really, the holes would
Stretched
get
out.
very big, and it would get very floppy. I like Lugana because it's on the stiff side, so I'm just like, okay, this fabric needs a hoop, and that's all right, and I can do that. But I have tons of it. When I bought this, I thought, oh, I love that blue. I'll just, yeah, I have tons of it. So I have enough, I think, to do as many of those that I want to, and maybe some other projects that need to be on blue. We'll see. Because I love the color. I got this at the attic, and I don't remember, I think it's called Ice Blue, and it's a Lugana. I mean, not a Lugana, a linen. So, I can't fold it. It won't fold.
It's like a mat. Can't get it folded back the way it should be.
Yeah. Okay, so we got in our patterns from
Nashville. From Keepsakes.
Keepsakes. I fell in love with this pattern the moment I saw it. Blue Moon Garden. I mean, that moon. Can we talk about that moon?
Let me see.
I mean, look at his face.
Cool.
That's part of the night garden.
It's part of the night garden thing. I'm not using the thread pack. I'm just going to use the DMC alternatives. But, and it's, I love the threads in the thread pack. They're beautiful. I just didn't want to, I'd rather spend the money on patterns.
Well, I was gonna say, I bought the 20-yard thread pack. So
How many did you buy of the
I bought I guess 3. The one that I bought the Forget-Me-Nots and Night Owl, and the only one that's kind of larger is the Blue Irises by
That one looks like it's going to take a lot, though.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
I don't think it'll take 20 yards
This
because
blue-
if you think a regular skein is 5 yards.
I was thinking about getting a fancy floss for the blue. Not getting, but going in my stash and finding. This was done on a 32 count linen. And I have no problem doing it on 32 count, but I would want to, I don't see any fractional stitches in it.
Can I see it?
So I'm thinking
And it's-
18 count.
And it's like 60 something by 60 something.
I'm thinking 18 count, but I'm gonna have to dye a fabric that just
Sure.
is beautiful like that, because part of it is, part of my love of it is the fabric.
Yeah.
The fabric
And it's
makes it
dyed really, like...
dyed
the-
well.
The, what do you call it, complementary color of the... Of
Yeah.
most of the pink.
So
Oh, sorry.
the flower,
It's really
Moth.
cute.
yeah. So I absolutely love it. Now this is another one. This is by Counting Puddles, who put out some beautiful things this year. This moth,
You hate moths.
I do, but I love this moth.
Moon moth.
Oh.
I want to do that moth in iridescence so badly. If I have the right iridescence, that moth will be iridescent.
That is cool.
It's a beautiful design.
And I have blue fabric, so
So it's cross stitch, but then there's like those like like embroidery stitches or something over top it?
It's probably back stitching or that.
It's really neat.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely.
It might be, yeah, it might be kind of like, yeah, specialty stitches, star stitch.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. That's this one over here.
yeah.
It's beautiful. I think it's a stunning pattern. Moths. I don't like moths because, you know, they come up on you in the dark.
Random.
They come up on you in the dark. But I have seen some moths that are absolutely beautiful. That doesn't mean I want them near me, but I don't mind looking at them. That's just like spiders. Spiders can live outside. They just can't come in my house.
Yeah, I guess it's all like back stitching and then the star stitches, but it's all, yeah.
I have to say that when I was in high school, I was traumatized by moths. I remember one year we arrived at school and we had these white brick, they were taller than you. They went around some stairs and they were brown because they were covered in moths.
When I was in, might have been junior high or might have been my freshman year, yeah, that there were moths everywhere. I remember going over to my friend's house and they had like a wood pile out.
But these are those
outside,
brown
and they
nested
were
moths.
just moths everywhere, and they were all getting in the house all the time because there's just a plague of moths.
Yeah.
The only thing that's worth is love bugs. Okay, so I decided what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to stitch them as is. Now, I might stitch more than one
Or
flower,
the flamingos.
and I might stitch more than one
Oh,
leaf.
there's a leaf. Oh, cool.
But I decided that what I'm going to do is buy a dead plant. I mean,
A
buy
plastic plant.
a plastic
Fake
plant.
plants.
You're gonna buy a dead one.
And rather
Well,
than
I could
killing
give
it
you a
yourself,
dead. I could go to I could go to Fry's right now and find a dead plant. So I walked up on Fry's and they have those hyacinths like I bought Dad, and it was all I could do not to snag one
Yeah.
because my dad loved it. He loved it, and I shortly after his death I ended up killing it. I tried, I really did, but plants and I, you know, it's a death sentence. So
If you buy one that's already dead.
I'll buy a plastic plant to put them in.
Oh, okay.
Something that looks kind of realistic,
Yeah.
and
There's nice ones nowadays.
and do those little flamingo legs like she has planned out here and all that.
That would be cute.
Yeah, I might want to put them on something tropical, some kind of tropical plant. I don't know. So that's me.
Shall I go next?
yeah, because I'm in the middle of.
Okay, I'm gonna go next. So, as if you've been with us a little bit, you know that I'm working on my aunt's sweater.
I'm Cyclops.
And I'm working.
She's
Sorry.
upstaging you with her cyclops eye.
This is the progress. This is the
Wow.
the back,
Got a lot of done.
the two fronts, and I'm knitting them all on one needle, so I can knit them at the same time. Which means I have 3 balls of yarn going, which means it's a tangled mess all the time. But they're getting kind of small. The middle panel is, I used up a whole, something happened here. I used up a whole skein, and then this was the leftover ball from the 2 pockets that I made. If you've been with us for a while, it has you make the pattern has you make the pockets as a swatch, so you can make sure your gauge is good. And I made those, and then I started 3 new balls for the 3 pieces. And the back is wider, so it ran out before the 2 sides, the 2 fronts did. So I used that 4th ball there, and they're all about the same now. So not very long from now, I'm going to have to rewind skeins to start, and I have 5 left. This is, sorry, this yarn is Barocco Vintage Chunky. So it comes in a skein like that, and I wind it into a cake. So I have 5 of these left, so I'm hoping 3 more, you know, caked up for these 3 pieces, and then I'll still have 2 for the sleeves. I'm hoping I don't run out of yarn. And it's going to be hard to divvy it out. I might have to split a skein in half to, you know, to finish working on the sleeves.
You could put a white trim on the bottom of everything.
No.
Or a lighter blue.
The top of everything.
Or,
no,
I'll
just try to get another skein if I run out. And I mean, I know dye lots, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so that's the progress here. And so, okay, today my theme is a different project for every situation, because this I can't take anywhere. This is TV knitting, because I can sit in my chair while we're watching a movie or something like that and knit on this, and I can...
It's too many moving parts to take it.
Well, it's, yeah, because it's big and bulky, and there's 3 balls of yarn and the cat's trying, you know. But, so I work on this at home while I'm sitting in my recliner. But I'm also kind of bored of it, you know, because it's just back and forth, back and forth. And my brain is the way my brain is. So I decided I needed work knitting, which I have a sock, but I haven't been working on it. It just didn't motivate me. And a while ago, I remember, if you remember the sweater I made Hannah, I made it from this Poema yarn, which is a gradient. This is a piece of it. It starts out white like this and goes to this dark brown. And it's a big gradient, it's a big ball of yarn. I can't remember now how many yards it is, but I think it's like 600. So it's quite a bit of yarn. And I decided to make a hat. The reason it's chopped in half is that if you remember for Hannah's sweater, I used the white part, so part of this white color to pick up and knit the collar, because it started at white here. And then I knit down to the sleeves, and then I had to pick up the sleeves and do the cuffs on the sleeves, but I had to match that gradient, if you remember. So I went into the middle of this ball, so the center of this ball and here are not too far in color change, because I had to, I wound off the white part and the where it started to get darker and found a matching spot, and that's where I made the 2 cuffs. And it was very stressful for me, but they came out, I think I matched it, and the gradient lasted long enough to do both cuffs, and it looks very natural. So that's why I have 2 pieces of this ball. And so I decided to make a hat. And the hat I decided to make is the Musselburgh. This is the Musselburgh hat I made, I want to say last year, if you remember. It's a giant tube like this, and so you start it on one end, and then you do increases, and then you knit a straight tube, and then at the very end you do decreases, and you make the other end of the hat. And to my credit, I can't tell which is which, so that's good. But then what you do is you take it in the middle and you stick one end inside the other. If you've been with us, you've heard me talk about this hat. I think it's really cool. So then you wind up with, you put the inside like that, and you wind up with a double thick hat that has this just folded cuff. And then you gotta kind of switch it around so that it lays. So this is double thick, which is nice, and then if you put up the brim, you've got a quadruple brim here. So it's very warm, or you can wear it, you know, like this and wear it slouchy, however you'd like. So I found this is a skein of yarn from Hobby Lobby. When it was skeined up, it looked white on one side and this purple color purple green on the other side. But then when you knit it, it turns into these stripes, which I thought was nice. And I have another skein just like this that's white and blue, which I might turn into another hat like this. But all that to say, I decided to do that with this. And my thinking was that it will start white like this and go to the middle color. And then by the other end, it'll be this dark brown. So my thoughts are that once it's done, you can wear either a hat that's white to middle, or you turn it this way and you have a hat that's dark to middle. So you can decide which way you want to wear it. And so I'm gonna send this to Hannah because she wears more hats than me. Now this one's mine, but the thing that I'm thinking is that this is way more yarn. This is like 400 yards, and this is probably a little under 600 yards. So it'll be a little bit longer. But she does have a lot of hair, so she'll be able to put it up in there, and she could wear it slouchy, or she can pull that brim up, more of a brim. But I think it'll look cool. I think the gradient will come out cool. That's my theory. So I did start it. Now, the way the Musselburgh hats are started, you started on 4 double point needles, and the pinhole cast on is very hard, and people really complain about it. And when I made this one, I did the traditional pinhole cast on. Then Roxanne Richardson, who's one of my favorite knitting teachers online, came out with a video of how to do a pinhole cast on in an easy way. And if you see, there's a contrast color yarn there. And what she does is she just casts on like a regular long tail cast on, but one of the strands is a contrast color and one is your main color. And then when I'm ready to, I take this, because you can see the stitches very easily with the contrast, you take the main color tail and just weave through that first row of stitches. Then you pull out the contrast yarn and you've got a pinhole cast on. So it's really much, much easier. So I went ahead and that's how I started this. And it looks like a baby hat right now because it's on this little 16-inch needle. But as it grows, it'll flesh itself out. So we'll see how that comes out. See if my theory is right, that it'd be a nice reversible hat that you can wear either way. So this is my work knitting, because now that I've gotten through the increases and the complicated cast on and the increases, now it's just knitting in a tube. So that's the best kind of knitting. Like I had to work a concert last night, and I just sat while the concert was going on, I sat at the marking table, and I don't have to think about it, I don't have to have a pattern, I can just sit there and talk to people and just knit. So this is work knitting. And because the sweater is, you gotta focus, and it's tangly, but it's really just knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. This way, purl this way. Knit, purl, knit. So it's repetitive, it's TV knitting, you can do it with minimal focus and concentration. But every once in a while, your brain needs more than that. If you remember, this is the yarn that is called, it's dyed at Tempe Yarn and Fiber, and it's called Carefree. And it's 650 yards. It was in a skein last time you saw it.
So beautiful.
And it's called Dragon's Eye. Now you see the Dragon's Eye.
Yeah.
She kept saying, it looks patriotic.
So,
anyway, and it's fine, it's patriotic, that's fine, but so it's got this red color. Now what this yarn does is it goes from dark, and you'll see that it gradually gets lighter, and then it goes to dark again. So I went to Tempe Yarn and Fiber last week, and here are 2 pictures of some options that I had, because I was looking for a contrast yarn. The first one, I had exquisite help from the shop owner. She was helping me. The first one I was looking at was this purple as a contrast, because I wanted to step away from the red, white, and blue, and so we thought that purple would be nice. And then we found this brown, and Eli liked the brown, Hannah liked the brown, and I actually kind of dig it because it says to me like blue jeans, like casual, and so I went ahead and bought the brown. I bought 2 skeins, because this is like with these two skeins, it'll be 800 yards, and this is 650, so I needed 650 yards. So I started it, and I'm going to do a close-up, but this is the beginning of the brioche, and you can see on this side is the contrast color, the brown, and on this side is the dragon's eye color, the blue. And it'll get more contrasty as the dragon's eye lightens up. So this is the right side, and this is the wrong side. But isn't that pretty?
That's beautiful.
And I'm thinking, like, with a nice pair of jeans, it'll just, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be kind of a more casual, with the right outfit. And I thought,
I don't know. It looks nice.
well,
for
no,
dressy
I know,
stuff too.
I know, but you know what I mean? Like, I just liked that earthiness of it.
The vibe.
And
You
so,
liked
because
the
this brown
vibe.
will stay the same, and this will lighten up. See how much it looks like blue jeans in here. So, I'm excited about this. I did the basically the opening stitches. This is the very end of the shawl, and it has one. This is called ocotillo. So it's got one ocotillo flower. Ocotillo is a native plant to the Southwest. It's kind of ugly, but I was just watching a video on it, how many uses it has. Like the flowers can be eaten, and the bark can be made into tea, and all kinds of stuff have been done by the native peoples, and you could even use it as fencing. It's like kind of a natural fence because it's so thorny, and in the winter it just dries into sticks. And then in the spring and summer, it blooms, and it's got these beautiful bright red flowers. So it's like a flame, but it's like an ugly torch with a flame on it. It's really kind of cool. So these are ocotillo. This is called ocotillo, and I'm showing you the wrong side because it's easiest to see. In contrast, you see those brown ridges. So this is brioche knitting, and you take a pass one way. And so, like, in this instance, I'm ready on this end. I'm going to knit across here, right? But then I'm not going to turn the work. I'm going to slide the needle back and knit across. I'm going to knit across with one color, and then I'm going to slide the needle back here and knit the same direction in the contrast color. And then I'm going to turn it and do the same. So you knit each side 2 times with brioche knitting. I've done it a little bit. I did like a cowl once with super thick yarn just to learn how to do it, and that was in the round, which is a little different. So this is flat brioche knitting. So it's my first time, and it's the just want to learn something new, but the pattern is, I'll show these guys. I can't show you on TV, I mean on the screen, but the pattern itself takes so much concentration that like this little bit I did sitting in Hannah's room at the desk table, just like focus. I had a movie playing, but I was just like focus because it's so you have to focus so much, and the way the pattern's written, some patterns I think do more like with charts and stuff, but this one is like each row is written out like and then 3 times, and so you have to really focus. And I have to have my iPad, and it has to be charged, and I have to be sitting there. So that is use my brain knitting. So need a knitting project for every instance in your life. And I think that is all I have. That's me.
Okay. Let me just put my thread in the back here. So, I've had a kind of a weird month, weirdly productive, and because
I'm being productive. Something must be wrong with me.
well, earlier this month I had my 2 WIP-GO things, and then my 2 new starts as part of my WIP-GO board. So the first one that I was working on was the cardinal, and I'm not taking it off the hoop now because I'm right in the middle of something. But so I actually finished the bird
It's not a
itself.
cardinal.
The cart.
It's not a cardinal.
No, woodpecker.
It's not a chicken. It's a woodpecker. It's a good thing I'm here.
Woodpecker. There's no cardinal in this series. It's a woodpecker. Sorry.
It needs a cardinal for winter.
At least I didn't call it a chicken. So, but I actually
They look like our chickens. They're just red.
But I actually finished the woodpecker itself. So the woodpecker is done. And so now I have all these little trees and leaves and whatever, around it. So I've been working on it more because my goal was 7 days, and I did that pretty early on. And I had hit the 7 days, and then, and I actually did a couple more days. And then, like, since now at the end of the month, I've had, I had several days just left over time. So now I'm working some more on the woodpecker. So, so this is Cottage Garden Samplings. And this is the number 9 in their series of 12. I have a cabin done, and I was trying to, when we were first starting, I was trying to do one of the trees here, and I couldn't do it because I had to count so far out. I was like not confident of my counting, so I started with the brown. I started with the brown sort of leaves at the bottom of the tree first. So anyway, so I'm putting in some more time on that just till the end of the month, which is a few days away. But also, so I had 3 finishes earlier this month, right? So I showed those before. The up on the rooftop stockings, the deer, I finished that last week, and the peppermint parrot and festive fruit bat. So those 3 were all smaller patterns, and I finished them all this month. And so, like I said, I had all this time left over, so I worked on this Twin Peak Primitives little freebie, the Snow Angel, and I finished it. So I worked on that one just, I guess last week. Actually, I had a lot more to do than it seemed like, because the white of the Snow Angel took forever because there's lots and lots and lots of white, And finally got down to the word hope and finished that. And I did all the little individual stars over these red chickens. The cardinals. And so it's all done. This is on 30 count, some kind of linen that I bought. They had the 2 little cuts like this. I guess they were left over from other cuts of fabric. They had them at the attic. So I had picked these up. So I have another one that I think I might use next month. We'll see if my pattern that I have in mind fits on it. I don't know yet. But anyway, this was from February, my February WIP-GO, so I finished that. And that is this little Twin Peak Primitives freebie that I don't even know when it came out, some time ago. I had printed it off and stuck it in a magazine, in between the pages of the magazine, and then forgot I had it. And I came across it, I guess last summer when we were packing stuff up, to put in storage to try to sell the house. And I had, was putting these magazines away. There was and I thought, what is this paper? It was like, yeah, it was that pattern. But I also stitched a little bit on this Quirky Christmas Nicholas. This is also from February. And I thought, oh, maybe I can finish that by the end of the month. I can finish it. And because it's really almost finished. I did finish all the regular stitching finally. There was some stitching left on his sweater, and excuse me, the lantern over here, and then all that was left was backstitching and French knots, of course, which I'm doing as colonial knots. And so I was working on that, and I just thought, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. It's just really hard to do, and takes more concentration than I had available in my brain. But like I said, Nicholas, his body and all the regular stitching is done. There's just back stitching, like little design stuff around here, little swirly things, and then some on top of his mitten, his sweater, his hat. There's some just white little kind of like snow flakes, whatever, little things. I don't know what you call them, star design, whatever. But so, and one of the reasons they're a little difficult is, first of all, because of the colonial knots, but also because on the pattern, a lot of the back stitching, almost all of it, is printed, I guess, as like, if you did it on, like I did this on 2/2 on linen, and so theoretically you could do all the back stitching as it's printed on the pattern in the kind of like in the middle of a square, right? So from the middle of this square to the middle of that square. So you can do it on linen because you're just, you could put it in other holes. If you had done the pattern on Ada, you'd have to split each square to get the stitches in there. Or you can just stitch them, like just modify it a little bit and move it around and stitch it so that you're not going in between the squares. And so I did that actually, like on this, there's some back stitching on the lantern that's supposed to be, I guess, the light or whatever on the lantern. And I just kind of, fudged around and put it so that I'm not having to split the squares, because it's really difficult when you've already stitched over it you've stitched over the square, you've got an X there, and you're trying to, stick the needle in the middle of that. It's just really difficult. And I didn't want to hassle with that, so I just made it work the way it was. But so, and I don't know if it's just a quirk of the printing on that thing or, whatever. So I'm just doing it however I feel like doing it. So, I have a couple more days of March to work on. Monday is the end of March. And so I'm just going to work on that woodpecker, I think, just on the, bits and pieces of the woodpecker until the end of the month. But so then the April WIP-GO numbers came out the other day, and and because of the way I did my WIP-GO board, and because of the way the numbers are coming, I'm still doing cottage garden samplings. So the numbers were number 4 and number 10. So this is number 4, the jackrabbit. My number 4. So this is number 3 of this cottage garden samplings Year in the Woods series. And this is the one that when I first saw it, there's a girl had a WIP Flosstube, and I don't know if she still does or not. She's in Virginia, but she had shown this pattern, and I thought that I need that series, and I just love this jackrabbit with his big ears. So this is one of my April WIP-GO projects, and they're all on this linen that I dyed myself. And I don't know if it's 32 or 28, but anyway, this is the one where I actually finished one. I finished the fox, and the swans is almost finished. And so this April I'll be working on the jackrabbit here. So I've got part of the actual rabbit done. I've got the little cabin done, which is my obsession. But there's lots and lots and lots to do on that. So we'll see how far I get in April on that. And then my other April WIP-GO stitching is, I thought I had it here. Oh, I do. I don't have the pattern handy, but is the barn owl, which is more of this cottage garden samplings charts, Year in the Woods, and the barn owl is on the same piece of fabric as the woodpecker, so it's here. So I got, last time I worked on it, excuse me, last year, I did the cabin, I did this one tree in the corner, and I got the outline of the barn owl done. So I just have to fill in his body a lot. And there's, I don't know what all, trees and stuff in there. So this is, I think July is, or August, because this is the one I got the two birds out of order, the eagle and the barn owl, I got them out of order. So this is number 7, this is number 8, and this is number 9 in the series. But anyway, so the barn owl, that's my second April WIP-GO chart. So I'm still in this cottage garden sampling series, and still doing Christmas because December, because my new starts for April are, this is another freebie from the Jingle Ball. This is I don't think it has an actual name, but I'm calling it Fox Snow Globe, because it is a little snow globe style with a little fox in there in a wintry, Christmassy scene. So this one came up, this is one of my WIP-GO new starts. And the other new start I have is this one called Frostbite by
Scary Snowman.
yeah, Amanda May McNaughton is the designer. So it's a little snowman with very red, fierce teeth. And this is designed in a floss called Presencia, or Finca, I don't know, Presencia. Presencia's Finca Moline 6-strand embroidery floss, which I do not have and I don't intend to buy, so I'm using the DMC conversion that's listed on here. And there's a couple of colors that are blends that I will probably do, just depends on how they look, or, you know. But it also calls for a metallic light effects DMC, and I'll probably just use Etoile on that. It's B5200 plus this light effects as a blend, and I think I'll probably just use the white Etoile. Yeah. Oh. But anyway, so this is my other. Excuse me. I don't know why. But for the Fox Snow Globe, I'll see. I'm going to see if it's big enough. But I have another piece of this 30 count green that I did the snow angel thing on. But I also have this sort of just neutral fabric. I think I dyed this one, or maybe, yeah, I think I may have dyed it myself. Kind of, it's tea dyed, coffee tea dyed, and then this one that I got at the attic. So this is, I think, 32 count, and this is 30 count. So it just depends on I think I'm going to do Fox Snow Globe on one of these colors. And Frostbite, I was thinking about, I bought this the other day at Michael's, and it's a 14 count Ada, but it is, and it's, I guess it's printed because it's white on the back side and with this color. So there is, it's kind of, there's some blue and pink, purpley, pinky colors on here. And so I might do it on this, on the blue part of it, on the bluer part. I think maybe I bought it on a whim the other day, and we'll see how I might do a floss toss and see how everything looks. Because on here, on the model, it's done on like dark blue fabric. This square on the outside is not part of the fabric for the stitching. The stitching is on this dark fabric here. And I do have somewhere some blue, dark blue Aida. I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a long time, so I don't know if it's the right size or not. But I kind of think it is, because this is only 87 by 83, so I think it should work on one of these fabrics. But that's another one of my new starts for April. And then I'm excited because all my Nashville things are in. And first of all, I wanted to state that, Eve and I were talking about what we're going to order from Nashville, trying to like be fiscally responsible. And
then I wouldn't have ordered anything.
yeah. But so she had talked about how she wanted the flamingo pattern, but she also wanted Hands-On Designs big awesome produce is what she calls it. This series called "There's a Hare in My Garden," and it's a giant berry, a big berry.
I did the things for the fabric, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so big.
How big is it?
Look at the back; it'll tell you the dimensions.
152 by 89.
Doesn't it also have what it is on a certain count?
It might. I don't know.
I like the name of the fabric, milk chocolate linen. That's pretty. You have to do it on brown. That's so pretty.
Oh yeah, I gotta do it on brown.
I don't know if it says.
It says allows for a 5 to 6 inch margin, that's big.
Well, that's because it's a berry.
Yeah. Right.
But it's huge.
Yeah.
And
Well, like one thing it says is purchase 2 skeins of the pearl cotton. What do you want to call
Well,
it?
I got the pearl cotton on my shopping list, which I won't actually buy until I plan to do that. But, so what are the dimensions?
152 by 89.
Is that on 32 count?
The linen they used was 20 count milk chocolate. Excuse me.
Over 2?
Probably.
The stitched area is 15 1/4 by 8 7/8.
Dang.
Big.
You could sleep on that though.
That's why I went ahead and bought it for.
They did.
Evie
She and her
these
husband
giant
on their
berries.
on the Flosstube. She has another one, and they did. But of course, the stitch ones.
So that's first.
I was going to give it to you
Because she's the berry queen. So that she's got a whole ton of little berries. She's the big berry. But then, so I had some that I got at the attic, and I talked about them on my Flosstube, but they had not yet arrived, I think, when we did our main Flosstube. So this is the thread pack of the Night Garden colors by Threadworks. So there are 4 colors. I think they're called Parrot Bay is this sort of greenish one. Coffee and Cream is this sort of tan color. And then Merlot and Concord Grape. And I would think, just like I don't know, the Concord grape is this bluish one, and the Merlot is purple. And to me, Merlot is more I think of like the wine is more like a red color, but this is purple. It's called Merlot. Anyway, so these are 20 yard skeins instead of the regular, like DMC is regularly like 5 yards. So this is bigger than that, so there should be plenty to do several patterns. But this one is it's called Iris. I don't want to show the pattern because it's just the pattern, it doesn't have a picture.
I read the note that she wrote in here.
Mm-hmm.
She got the idea for these when she just used random cloth to decorate her thing last year's market, and she made berries out of this random cloth, and she's like, that's a good idea.
So the blue flower, her night garden design is a freebie, but it's irises, and it's I want to say it's about 90 by 70, so it's not too tiny, it's fairly big.
But my mother loved irises.
Yeah, I love them. I just think they're beautiful. But then also from the attic, I'm trying to. Oh, no, I don't know. Oh yeah, okay, this one. This is from the attic. Bunny's house. It's a little carrot house, and there's Bunny.
Didn't we have this?
Did I talk about this last
we
week?
had those last week.
Yeah, you
It's
did.
just the ones from
From Keepsakes. Yeah.
keepsakes that you didn't have. Because I remember you talking about the bunny's house.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, because I talked about the tiny modernist mouses snow day. Yeah. Okay. So that might be the blue flower irises, the bunny house, and tiny modernist, and then the
This you got from
yeah,
keepsakes.
that one I got from Keepsakes. Yeah. So from Keepsakes, I had the big berry, and also then this one, Pigeon and Puddle. It's a pigeon wearing rubber boots.
Yep.
Oh, this is from the attic
You
also.
showed
Yeah.
that last
Okay. There. Okay. Now, separating my Keepsakes from my things. So this is from Keepsakes. This is Night Owl. This is part of the Night Garden series also.
Who's it by?
This is by, I forget, Stitchy Pros. Stitchy Pros. And this is
yeah, I saw that.
60 by 60. Not very big
It's
at all.
really cute.
Yeah,
It's a good owl.
it's very pretty. And so almost all of these night garden designs have these little moons in them. So there's a little tiny moon here. There's another, there's a tiny modernist. Is it, that blue moon is not by Tiny Modernist.
No.
Tiny Modernist has a moon design also.
On their flowers. On the moon that has flowers on it.
Yeah.
This is by
Carriage House
Samplings.
Yeah. So Tiny Modernist has a moon one that I almost got. I almost got that one because it's very much like that, the little half moon with the face, but it's done, and the moon itself is done like in that beige color, rather than this one, which is blue. So I was kind of torn between the two of them. But I also got in that Night Garden series this Forget-Me-Nots design, because of course it's an elephant.
It's by Tiny
And it's
Modernist.
got, this is by Ink Circles.
Ink Circles? I thought it was by Tiny Modernist.
No, Forget-Me-Nots is by Ink Circles.
Oh.
The Tiny Modernist
Oh yeah.
Night Garden thing is the moon. But so it's an elephant with a little bouquet of Forget-Me-Nots. It's very pretty. And so this one also is just 58 by 58. So these tiny designs. And then I got this Tiny Modernist, My Cat Helper, which is a cat with, you know, all kinds of sewing stuff around it. A little red tomato and some
Your
various...
cats help you all the time.
Yeah. Thread things. And this one is also, it's not too big.
Who's that
It's
one by?
Tiny Modernist.
Oh, yeah.
90 by 110. Yeah. So, and I'm still waiting for the Afloat by Twin Peak Primitives, which is the whale and a whale as a ship design. And I think that's me.
That's you.
So I had an interesting.
Time for question of the week.
Oh yeah. We asked about, do you do
Are you doing any spring stuff?
any spring stitching?
Yes.
We had 2 answers.
Yeah. Sorry.
There's probably people stuck in Christmas like Beth.
We have someone working on, Chris Cook is working on Brenda Gervais' Jelly Bean Jubilee book. And Smalls in a couple wooden dough bowls around the house, but her big stitch is Halloween. And Mary O's, who is on a bunny kick. Sounds like you. Easter
bunnies.
Rabbit wordplay by Hinzite. Bedelia Bunny by the Artsy Housewife, and Geometric Hair by the Velvet Pony. And she's going to start on December Birthday Cat by Birds of a Feather. So she doesn't want to wait till Christmas to start that, she said.
Yeah.
So those are answers. So this week's question, we want to know, who are your favorite floss tubers? We have our favorites. Well, mine are, I don't know what they're called, knit tubers. I don't know what they're called. We don't have a name for ourselves. But so I know my favorites, and they have a list of favorites. We'll share them next week when we get your answers. But we want to know, what other floss tubes do you watch? And we won't be jealous.
Yeah, because a lot of them, you know, are
Well, that's how you
have
learn and
finishing ideas
Yeah,
and, you know,
yeah.
things like that. And,
Well,
Well,
you
even
learn
or they're just
or
they-
just, yeah.
we
they're-
know you
they're
stitch.
starting different stuff than
Right,
you
you know,
are.
Yeah.
we know you stitch for more than 1 hour a day. We only take up about a 1 hour, so you got to fill the rest of the time.
Okay, be
Yeah.
real. It's more like an hour and a half.
Okay, sometimes. We
but,
try.
yeah.
But yeah, so let us know in the comments below. And I guess we're on to stories now.
Yeah.
And Eli and I have an interesting story. That's her son. We went to Michael's yesterday. I wanted a duck for my ducky project. I didn't find the kind of duck I wanted, but I made do. So I'm shopping, and I was at the back, kind of at the back of the store, and I was looking at paint colors. I was thinking about finishing the bee thing that I just did. So I was back there, and all of a sudden we hear, and you could tell it's a young voice going, "Help!" And then you could tell it was just nonsense, that it wasn't a real, and then somebody else says something, and I think they were riding around in a cart.
I don't know.
I'm not sure because I didn't see them until they left. And it went on for a while. And I knew that they were going to be kicked out. And I told Eli, I'm uncomfortable going up to the front to make my purchases. Because people, especially young people, you don't know how they're going to act being kicked out of a place.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear them for a while, so I said, okay, let's go. And I started walking toward the front, and I needed to go back and look for something, so I come back, and they're being escorted out.
Oh no.
And one of them had the audacity to, because he said, "You're trespass, don't come back in here, or you will, or I'm going to call the police if you don't leave now."
Wow.
Right.
What were they doing?
Like I said,
Just being nice?
they were loud for a while. They were just acting a fool, and one kept saying, "Help!" shouting at the top of their lungs. Let me just say that. And the other one was shouting too, and it sounded to me like, because I saw other boys outside
Like they just dared each other to go in and act stupid.
acting a fool down by Sprouts.
Uh-huh.
But they're being escorted out, and one of them has the audacity to say, "We didn't do anything. Why are you kicking us out?"
It's like
And
it's
I
a store,
told-
not a playground.
And I told the girl that was helping me check out, I said, I was afraid to come up here. You know, I wasn't afraid of the boys exactly, but by their voices and all that, you knew it was young men.
Yeah, they were gonna
And-
causing trouble.
And they, you know,
Like, why are you in Hobby Lobby? What are you doing there?
no, it was Michael's.
Oh,
But yeah, so I just, it's like, why do people? I'm sorry, and it's not just teenagers. It's not. I've seen grown people acting a fool. Now it didn't happen recently. It was when I lived on Cindy Street, and that Fry's was across the street from the other Fry's. On that corner market, they were catty corner to each other. At the smaller Fry's, I'm walking inside and I see two girls swinging at each other, hitting at each over a parking space.
oh yeah.
There have been people murdered over parking spaces. I mean, seriously? Go park somewhere else.
People be crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there was that. And then Beth and I bought a car. It took us 5 hours. I don't want to get into why. There was a lot of stuff, but they were amazing over at Honda. They were great. I gave them a very good review because the finance guy was hilarious. And we couldn't get something done, so we ended up having to go back again the next day. And he goes, I just slept here. See, I'm in the same clothes. So, yeah, you know, when you have something that's that takes that long, and you're doing all the, you know, trying to get the payment you can do with the, you know, everybody knows. If you bought a car, you know, it's not an easy process. I tried out 3 cars, and I liked the way that the one I have handles, although I may have to ask Robert to drive it for a minute to see whether there's something. But I just really was very happy with the whole process, except for the 5 hours and 2 hours. And we called back the next day so he could get us a better deal. So yeah.
It's a new to us car. It's a used car, but it's in great shape, and it's very clean and, you know, good looking. You know, it's not, you know, worn out or anything like that. So it looks like a brand new car basically, and it's a really pretty, like, sort of, I call it a coffee au lait color, like coffee ice cream.
It's called sandstone.
Yeah.
But to me, it looks like coffee ice cream.
Yeah. So.
It shows where your mind is.
But yeah, it's
When she told me, oh yeah, it's like a coffee color, and I'm like, I didn't pay attention. I was driving it during the day. I didn't care. I didn't care, and I didn't care.
That's
on
what
the 3
Mark's
cars.
always like, we don't care what color it is.
I don't care.
He is like adamant. I am not allowed to speak anything about, do you have a red one? No. Like, I mean, I don't want a red car. But anyway,
Yeah.
Mark has car negotiation down to an art.
I didn't care about the
He's
color.
amazing.
Yeah.
You
I
can't
didn't
care
care-
about the color.
I didn't care
You
about.
can't care about the color because they will
the one thing I
anything you
care
say
about-
will be used against you.
I cared about how it felt when I was in it, and I cared about how it felt when I was driving it. And what I liked about this one is it had a better foot feel. You can feel the engine through your foot, and you also how it handles, you know. So
Yeah, and also just like,
but none of my stuff fits. It's
yeah,
like
I was
buying
gonna
a new purse.
the whole thing about the interior is that one of the ones we test drove had like it was a newer model, I think, but it had like a real different like console thing that was kind of split level and this and that and the other, and I was like, you know, and so this one has a little bit, just, you know, different kind of console and just fits. You know, things are, you have to get used to, like, this is not the way the van was. And
Well,
you know, but
the
yeah,
van,
but it's,
the van was much wider, and so
Yeah.
you
and you
have
had that giant thing in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean-
why you don't like traveling in my car. You're like, there's nowhere to put anything.
yeah.
well,
But,
yeah.
But one of the things is that of the three that we test drove, there was like a gray one and a black one and this cream color.
I didn't know what color the other ones were.
And the black one, when I was getting in it, I put my hand and I was like, ah! I burned myself.
Yeah.
I thought, because, you know, we used to tell my
It was
mom
a very
that.
hot day.
we used to tell my mom that because, you know, she was in the walker and all that, and the van was white, but still it would get very hot.
Yeah.
You know, out in the 120-degree Arizona sun, and so we were very concerned that my mom and dad would touch the van and burn themselves.
So I have to say that
But-
she continued to put her hand on it, and she never once went, ow. You
Right.
know why?
She had make tortillas with her bare hands.
Because she would flip tortillas and chilies
I'm like,
and
how
stuff
can
like that with their
how
bare
can you
hands.
do that with your bare hands? I'm using tongs. You
Yeah.
know.
But yeah, so that's what I thought immediately when I put my hand on that black car.
Well, that's what when I didn't see it until I guess the next night. We were at Rachel's watching
Yeah.
the movie, and I went out to look at it in dark. But the first thing I was like, "Tell me you didn't buy leather seats. No, they're nice cloth seats. Like, no leather
As a matter of
seats in
fact-
Arizona. It's
As a
the
matter of
worst."
fact, the salesman was asking us, "Well, did you want leather seats or this one?" And I'm like, "No."
No leather seats.
Because you will burn your carcass.
Yes. But
Any color of
the
leather.
thing I didn't realize until after we bought it, I think, was that it has a
There's a
moonroof sunroof
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, oh look, there's a little thing up there.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I thought, yeah,
Ask
you can
me
use
if
it for
I'll
like,
ever use it.
yeah, I was gonna say you use it like 2 days in Arizona.
It's right now. When you realize
No, at night.
Or
At night.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not open. It's just, you know.
No, I'm sure it opens.
Looks-
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it does. I'm sure. But it's
Yeah, nice at night.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you have to close it during the day.
But
'Cause, you know,
I don't like
they
a
kinda-
I don't like a window open if I'm driving. I'm not going to have that thing open.
Oh, one thing I noticed
You know, fun.
when I came out from, I had gone into Fry's and I was coming out,
I grew up in the days of 440. Okay.
but was that the windows are tinted very nice and dark
Yeah.
because I was
Yeah.
like
I just hope they're not too dark, and I end up getting pulled over and told your windows are too dark. Frank pulls
Frank.
over people all the Fridays with
Those
Frank.
are custom tinting. I'm
yeah, but so it's very nice.
That's nice.
But you know, the other day we had a showing for the house, and so we were in the car, you know, waiting for them to finish, and we were kind of concerned with, like, you know, because we were looking for someplace to park and look for some shade to park under. And I realized that, you know, the car actually is, because I looked to see, you know, if the sun was coming in with the windows, you know, for the pets, but I looked and it was nice and dark in there because of the tinted windows.
That's nice.
So it helped a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you know, I remember when the kids were little, I was constantly afraid that Robert would be branded by the
Yep.
buckles on
And
the
seatbelts. Yeah.
and the
It's really hard.
you know
Mhm.
yeah, because you want to throw a blanket or something over it just so the hardware isn't burning
Yeah.
hot. As it is, you put on your seatbelt, there was a commercial, an air conditioning commercial about you're in the summer and you get branded by the seatbelt. You know,
Well, you know,
because
the thing is like the buckle's hot, and,
Yeah.
and so maybe you hold it by the plastic thing, right? And you go and you put it in, but even the plastic,
Yeah.
you know, and the seatbelt thing is right here by your leg, and you're like,
exactly.
burning
Even
in
the
my
plastic,
claws.
the plastic is hot, but the metal goes like that beside you, and you're like, oh, that's hot until you get it clicked in, you know.
But
Yeah.
even then, like if your hip is up against it, like it's burning.
Yeah.
Now my interior of my car is black, but it's cloth, so it does get hot, but it's not.
One
leather.
one thing that I was thinking about was that, you know, the other day we stopped somewhere, and Eve, like some store or something, and Eve went inside, and I was sitting outside, and the sun was like just coming in, it was like burning my leg. I had like something.
When was this in the van?
Yeah, in the van the other day. It was a few days ago. But so I had like, I don't know, whatever I was doing. I think I was just cross stitching. I think while I was sitting there waiting for Eve to run in, and I had gotten like whatever I was working on, I put it over my legs just to keep the sun from hitting me because I was wearing like, you know, my little black yoga pants things, and the sun was like,
Yeah, having that 98-degree day was 99-degree
very
day was
scary.
like really hot that for March.
Yeah, for so early in the year, like it's gonna be horrible this summer.
So did anybody besides me have?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, I was talking about earlier when we were talking about the spring, you know, and Easter's coming up, and one of the things on the little ads on my, you know, video games or whatever, you know, watch this ad to get doubled twice, you know, 2 times the points or whatever. But so there's one ad that absolutely drives me crazy. Well, there are a couple in this series by this company, and they just look like very low rent.
Ads,
And this is like,
ads in general drive me
but
crazy.
this is like a, you know, a national company, and you know, usually the ads are very slick and very, you know, companies spend a lot of money on their ads and whatever, and they're very image conscious and this and that and the other. Well, the first ad in this series looked like there's a guy sitting at a table, and he's like wrapping up it's about, you know, gifts and stuff that you can buy, and this guy looks like your neighbor, you know, not like a TV actor or whatever doing an ad, but like, you know, and then like there's a picture of there's an image of one girl giving a gift to another girl, but there's like a weird edit cut in it, like it doesn't look right. And then there's another at the end. There's a woman going like this with the gift, right? And so it just makes me crazy anyway. But then they did another one in this by the same company for Easter. And it's talking about all the things you could buy if you're making an Easter basket for your kid or whatever. And so there's like some Easter decor, and then there's these little plushies, real pretty little, you know, plushies like little chicks and bunnies and all the stuff that you can buy for your Easter basket. And they're talking about, oh, and get a card for your, you know, for your basket and blah, blah, blah. And it shows a woman, you know, like putting together at the beginning, you know, putting together stuff for for this Easter basket or whatever. But then the end of this commercial is a little girl. She's like probably preschoolish age or something like that, or maybe early elementary school. But she's got little, you know, the little bunny ears on, and she's with her mother there. I guess like looks like there's some dyed Easter eggs, and she's moving them around. But the little girl, and she has like a I guess a chocolate Easter egg there in front of her that she's eating. And so she's kind of chewing with her mouth open, but you know, she's smiling and everything, and she's got chocolate bits all over her face, like all around her mouth, and she's got like her hands. You could see she's got chocolate on her hands.
Gross.
And she's sitting there, you know, like, you know, I guess moving one of these eggs over to give it to her mother or something like that. And I'm just like, I could just imagine that those filthy little hands touching those little those little plushies that they were showing, like, oh here dear, here's a little plushie. Oh look, you know, chocolatey hands all over there. Like,
So
wipe her face before you turn the camera on. Wipe her
No,
mouth.
they probably put chocolate on her face on purpose.
It's like,
Yeah.
here, eat this
So
chocolate.
They didn't miss a trick. They know what they're doing.
well, a lot of
looks
people think that means that the kid's really enjoying it. So I worked as a graphic designer for a while for a company that did print work, no TV, you know, any of that. We worked with high-end clients that, you know, high-tech clients, sometimes high-end. And people would walk in and say, so how much does a brochure cost? And she said, so when you build your own house, how much does that cost? It depends. It depends on if you want travertine tiles or you want, you know, bay windows or you want this or you want that. So there's no set answer on how much building a house costs because it depends on what you want. Mm-hmm. And she said the same way, I cannot tell you how much a brochure costs because it depends on what kind of paper you want. If you want 4-color ink or you want just black and white. And if you want, you know, to pay a photographer or an illustrator to make a special picture for your product. Mm-hmm. And I thought explaining it like building a house was a very good explanation. And it sounds to me like these people wanted a cheap house.
Yeah.
And
Well, and that's
we had a client that he sold jewelry and he would go get gemstones and stuff, but he didn't want to spend a lot of money on his paper advertising because that takes money out of other avenues, right? And when I see really slick ads, I think I know how much that costs. You know, I know how much it costs. That's why Walmart's bring in the ad and we'll match it bothers me because the other company paid for those ads.
Right.
Well, what the reason that I guess that these commercials kind of puzzle me is because it's not like it, you know, like when the local like car dealership makes a commercial, you know, and there's some guy in a goofy costume and he's doing some goofy thing, or you know, and it's just it's like, you know, like I always think of Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
That, you know, where he's hiring some kids from the university to come out and make a commercial, and he's standing in front of a radio tower or something. You know, that kind of thing. You kind of expect, you know, goofy stuff like that if it's the local company and local ads, and you know, but this is like a national ad, a national company, and I don't know if it's a local ad or something, or if it's because it looks like a national ad, and that's why I'm like.
But if it's an internet ad, it might be a different total budget. Because,
I don't know, but
because it's in a game, right?
Yeah,
but it's not like when you're watching.
But Beth, not everybody gets annoyed by that.
I don't know. It's just really. I actually, with the little girl with the chocolate, I had to put my hand over the I cannot look at that. I can't. And I think part of it is that when we were kids, my dad used to like kind of drill this into us when we were having like family dinners, like, don't chew with your mouth open, don't breathe in the glass, don't bite the fork with your teeth, you know, and like there was something I saw once where I think it was a commercial also, where this girl was like, you know, putting a fork full of food in her mouth, and she's like, you know, her teeth, because I guess she's supposed to be smiling or something, but she's putting her teeth on the fork, and I'm like, and you know, but so
I wonder if Dad had that syndrome where you can't stand people.
I think.
Let me finish my sentence.
Oh.
I wonder if Dad had that thing where people, like some people, I can't remember what it's called, where you can't stand the sound of someone else chewing, because he was so adamant about it all the time.
Yeah, because one of the reasons when we were kids, that we had those plastic, like melamine or melamine, whatever you call it, melamine plates. Part of the reason that we had those was because he couldn't stand the sound of like cutting and stuff like that on a glass plate. Yeah. So yeah, that was one of the reasons that we had those plastic plates.
Beth and Mom chew ice. I never chew ice.
Yeah,
I never chew ice because he would say, "It sounds like you're chewing rocks." Yeah.
Yeah, it was the boss. So my boss is a little bit that way. I try to be like, I'm eating a crunchy salad over here in the corner, sorry.
One time, when I was at work, there was a girl a few cubicles
Don't be
down
so intolerant, Beth.
that she had chips, and so she was like chewing them with her mouth open, and then like biting them is one thing, but then she would chew them, and I was like, oh. And finally I said, who's chewing with their mouth open? I knew it was her. I knew exactly who it was and exactly what the situation was. But I was just like, I couldn't stand it. And especially because, like, it's not like she was in the break room eating or something like that, but she's sitting at her desk. And I finally hear her say, I'm just trying to enjoy my chips.
Yeah, but,
trying to enjoy my day.
So, Beth,
It was making me crazy. Mm-hmm.
when you go to the movie theater, do you ever just not talk or anything and just
Listen to
Listen.
the
Oh my God.
crunching and nasty.
okay? So you just have to just ignore other people, Beth, and let them live their lives.
One time I
But you don't have to watch commercials.
was making me crazy.
You don't have to
when
watch commercials. You can put your hand over the commercial.
This woman was eating popcorn at the movie theater, but she would take one little kernel of popcorn and she would stick it all the way in her mouth and she would lick her fingers on the way out and like.
It's like so you have to demonstrate.
I had to like turn my face away from her. Oh my
So
gosh.
intolerant. I when you have children, you get used to a lot of stuff, and
A little.
I mean, you
but
put
you
your
also say
you
stop.
put
Yeah.
your hand out when you see
Well,
when you're
I know.
gonna throw up, and
You catch barf. This is the number one mother
Yeah,
sign.
I mean that's different though. That's different from
But
teaching people to
I-
chew with their mouth closed.
I was yeah, but not everybody's parents taught them that.
well, I know.
So
but-
I'm very fortunate that Robert, my aunt made more mess eating than my son, at whatever age. He is a mess now, but it is not like eating mess. It is
Yeah.
Yeah.
other things, But I'm very fortunate that I never had you need. As a matter of fact, I have a feeling some of that was drilled into him because I remember shortly after I got him, he was in a high chair and he spilled his milk. And he just went, and I said, accidents happen. Let me go get a towel, But he was terrified that I was going to
Be upset.
about him spilling his milk. And it's like,
Yeah.
kids spill milk, it's not a big deal.
I remember one
That's
time.
different from just like,
Yeah, I remember one
but
time.
but other than that kind of thing, he wasn't messy.
One time I was at McDonald's. It was probably when I was in college or thereabouts. But I was in there by myself, and it was probably a Saturday or something, because there were these two dads were in there, two separate groups, there with a dad and their kids, and so there's the one dad they both had like 2 or 3 kids, and the one dad, his kids were like standing on the seats and running around and blah, 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 and he was like looking very harried. And the other dad was sitting there with his kids, with like a boy and a girl, and school age kids, and they're just having a conversation, just like, and the kids are sitting very, very well behaved and sitting in their seats and eating their food, and they're talking with their dad, and and I was like, yeah, I remember my dad talking about when we were kids, saying things like, you know, you can't let your kids run around like crazy at home and then expect them to behave in the restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, you teach them at home, sit in your chair, finish your food, do this, do that, so that when you go out in public, you know, they're used to how to behave at the
Right,
table.
I had a friend.
You know.
So they don't climb on top of the table and knock it over in the downtown?
I don't think she knocked it over. I think
She did knock it over.
No, I don't think she stood on it. I think
knocked
she
it
just
over.
pushed it.
No, she knocked it over. She
Yeah.
was crawling on it and fell
You know,
over.
their parenting skills were all worn out by the time I was.
Yeah.
That's true. So I just let her do whatever she wants.
What was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say now. But
I'm sorry.
no, that's okay.
You were talking about being in a restaurant.
Oh no, I had a friend whose daughters. She would feed them at dinner at like 5 o'clock before her husband got home in their little toddler table, and then they would eat. They would put the kids to bed early, you know, like 8ish, whatever, and then they would eat. And I'm like, how are they ever going to learn to eat as a family? Like, so the reason she would do that is they were so messy and they were so out of control and they were so, you know. And I'm like, well, you're never giving them an opportunity to how to act at a table.
How to behave.
My kids we all sat for dinner when they were in a high chair. When they were, as soon as they could sit up and eat at a table, we all sat together at the table. Like, from day one.
Until mom and dad passed, we always sat at one time to eat. Because that's when you find out how somebody's day went. That's when you... and it's not just about teaching manners, it's about getting to know your kids and, you know, what's important to them. And because you're sitting there for an extended period of time where they're not running around, they're not looking at their phone, they're not watching TV, and you can talk.
One of the things I've been doing, speaking of parenting lately, is it's happened like twice. There'd be a mom. Well, first at Costco, there was this family, and Eli and I were. So what Eli and I do, we go to Costco and we go in, and then we walk through the checkout to the restaurant area, and we eat a hot dog or whatever, and then we go shop. Then we go back through, and then Eli runs out and gets a cart, and then we do our shopping. Because I want to eat a Costco hot dog. I want to enjoy that. And I eat it with a knife and fork and no bread. It's no fun. But anyway. But I don't want to sit there with my cart and my melting frozens and, you know. So anyway, so that's what we do. And we go in and we always have to stand at a table because there's never any room. And we were standing there, and this small little family comes with, I guess, 2 kids, like 2 little boys, and one of them was wearing like a Hot Wheels shirt or something. And they just were sitting there and conversing with them. They didn't have their face stuck in an iPad. They were just, or maybe it was a little girl and a little boy. Maybe it was. I can't remember now. But it was just so pleasant to see good parenting. I can't describe it any other way. It was just like they were listening to their children, they were talking to them, the parents weren't on their phone.
To be sure,
we
do not mind parents giving their children electronics.
No, I'm just saying, like,
but you need to,
like, they were having
conversations and, you know, and all that. There's a time and place for everything. It was just
an adorable family. And so I'm like, Eli, I'm sorry, I'm about to do something weird. And I walked over and I was like, hi. And the father was looking at me like, what are you going to say? I said, I just want to say that you guys are doing great. I can tell, just watching you, that you're great parents, and just be encouraged, you know? Because I see very young parents of young kids, and I remember being a parent of young children, and it's exhausting. And you think it's never going to end, and you don't want it to end, right? You want to be parents. You want this, but you're just overwhelmed with like the day to day, and you never see the end, you know. And he was wearing a Hot Wheels shirt, I think, and I was like, And that's my big kid over there, you know. And I'm like, we like your shirt, and the little boy was like a beanie. So I just feel like there's certain moments where I want to say something, you know. And there was another time I was at Target, and there was a mom there, and we could hear the kid screaming, you know, rows down. And she would pick her up and then put her down in an aisle while she was looking for something, and the kid's on the floor throwing a tantrum. And she's not coddling, she's not bargaining, she's just, okay, well, I'm sorry, you know, whatever. And I thought back to
those days.
My very intelligent daughter who was very frustrated with life when she was young and was quite the screamer. And back in those days, and I'm like, you are not running the family. You are going to throw a fit. I'm so sorry. We're still going to shop. We're still going to stay here. We're not leaving, but I'm not giving in. And you're not, you know, all those things.
Yeah.
And you're going to be fine. You're just mad. You know, you're not hurt. You're not abandoned. You're not sad. You're just angry. And we'll all get over it.
Yeah.
So I walked over and I was like, I just want to let you know, I've been there. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Hang in there. It gets better. They grow up. You know. And she's like, oh no, she's fine. She goes like, she was kind of like, she's never like this. And I was like, no, I know. I had that. I had that exact child. So I get it.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time everything's great, and one day they just pop off, and you know, what do you do?
Well,
But how you handle it.
Yeah, one of the things that in Love and Logic they were talking about is you don't know any of those people.
Right.
So just let them scream.
Yeah.
They'll scream themselves out and realize it doesn't work.
Right.
And then they won't do it anymore.
Like my dad used to kick your legs real fast.
Yeah.
So,
but you know,
a woman was on TikTok, and her daughter was screaming in the background, and she's like, I don't know what to do. I've tried this or that. And then she looked at the kid and she goes, are you ready to get up now? The kid would stop screaming and calmly say, no. That means that she's waiting for mom to give in.
Right.
I said, just let her scream.
Yeah.
When Robert tried that the one time, he tried that, I just grabbed one leg and one foot and pulled him underneath a display so that he wasn't in the way. And I sat down and I just was like waiting. When he wasn't quitting, I just said, okay, we're leaving now. Let's go. And I walked where I was out of his sight, but I could still see him. He gets up. He's walking, and then he stops because he realized we're heading toward the door. And I'm like, we're leaving, right? And he walks a little bit because I just keep going backwards, you know. And then this woman comes up, and she gets down on his level. And she says, is everything okay? Or something. I said, his mother is standing right here. He's fine. He's just mad. Now, and then Robert was looking at her like, who are you? And he's like, I'm handling this. He just stopped and walked out with me.
He's like, oh, people are gonna.
Yeah.
Well, so there was one time, I probably told the story, but hang on, I don't want to mess this up. Hannah was very young, and I probably told the story. We were at Target, and we had a shopping cart. She didn't want to ride in the shopping cart. I'm like, okay. So she was walking, and she was like, she bent down and wanted to take the cartwheel and move the cartwheel, you know. And, you know, I guess I could have been a progressive mother and say, okay, honey, let's talk about how the cartwheel works. But I said, you need to not do that. You're going to pinch your finger. And she looked at me like, yeah. So she touched it again. I said, honey, don't do that, or I'm going to have to put you in the cart. Because I didn't care. I know she was exploring wheels. But we can explore wheels without pinching our fingers in the dirty, gross cart. So anyway, I was like, you need to not do that, or I'm going to put you in the cart. And then it became no longer exploration. It became defiance. And she just looked at me like, and went back to touch it. I'm like, okay. And I put her in the cart and I strapped the little strap, and she threw a fit. She threw a high holy fit, and we're like, okay. And we just kept shopping. And Mark was like, should we go? I'm like, no. We are here to look at camping equipment or whatever we're doing, and that's what we're going to do as a family. She doesn't get to control the family. We control the family. She's throwing a fit. So sad. So,
Like I said, you don't know anybody there?
no, well, so here comes a Target employee to check on the baby. And like, she's like, well, someone up at the front was concerned. I'm like,
Oh,
the child is angry. We're fine. She doesn't want to be in the seat. She has to be in the seat. Like,
yeah. A, what business is it of yours? And B, what is your business?
She was
well,
warned.
like, I can understand. You know, okay, they send an employee to make sure I'm not
Yeah.
beating a child. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
I will accept that. But it's not abuse to let your child cry.
No.
There is real abuse, but that's not it.
Yeah.
And remember when we went camping?
Yeah.
They
Comfort the baby.
comfort the baby
comfort.
because again, she was upset because her dad had left the campsite to go to town to buy ice or something, and she was like, but I think she discovered he was already gone. I can't remember exactly,
I think he left when she was doing something
like
else.
asleep or something. And she was like, "Where's Dad?" And I was like, "He went to town." And she started crying because she wanted to go with him, or maybe she was scared or concerned that he wasn't there. But then she started to get upset, and she was like, "I'm going to go find him." And she starts to walk off into the woods. Now, I could see her. I knew she wasn't going to walk off into the woods, but I also controlled that. Like, I'm like, you can't just walk off into the woods, and I brought her back. But so anyway, she was throwing a fit, and in the woods, it was echoing all over. And there was this family walking by on a path nearby, and they were like, "Comfort the baby."
No.
Okay, I guess I don't remember.
They said, make your baby be quiet or something like that. And you said, well, she's upset, right now. And that's when they said, well, comfort the baby. You said something like, she's a baby,
Yeah.
She was
a toddler.
she was little.
I was to say, as an example of bad parenting, one time I was at Walmart, and it was late. It was late at night. I think I had stopped by, I don't know, for whatever reason, but it was late. It was like 10, 11, something like that. It was pretty late at night. And there's a woman there with a little bitty kid, like maybe 2, maybe younger than that. And of course, this child is like tired and wants to go to bed, go home and go to bed, And here this young woman is, shopping in the middle of the night with her kid, and the kid is screaming. And so she's like, telling the kid, shut up, shut the blankety blank up. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yep. Now see, that wasn't me. That is abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like,
No, I know. Eli and I sometimes are like, that little kid needs a nap. Or Eli and I will look at each other like, me too.
Yeah.
He says little kids get to express what we all feel.
Yeah,
So Robert used to want to chuck his shoes at me and stuff like that when he was mad, and from the back seat. And I can't have him chucking his shoes at me if I'm driving 60 miles an hour down the road, right? I was driving down Coors, and he chucked his shoes at me, and they landed in the front seat close to me, and I pretended to throw them out the window. and we get home. My parents' home had a sidewalk that went from the driveway up to the house, and the house was older, and the concrete was deteriorating, and there were stickers and little rocks coming up through the concrete. And I got out of the car and said, "Come on, let's go." He goes, "Carry me." Nope. and he's like, "But this hurts." God gave me a good hot day too. And I said, "That's why I keep my shoes on. Come on." He never did it again. You know, one of the things that Love and Logic says is logical consequences. So, well, we've talked about these kids long enough.
Oh, I've got to work tonight. Oh, I was going to show you the other thing I've been doing all week. I have been playing video games and I have been knitting, but the last few weeks,
Made a
we've
brochure.
been working on this, yes. And then, of course, a couple people came like, there's a mistake, and I'm like, don't tell me there's a mistake. But it's not really a mistake. There's just Rachmaninoff has 2 F's, and 1 F is his whole name is capitalized, but the very last F didn't get capitalized for some reason. That's not really a mistake. I mean, it's kind of a mistake. And then this L didn't get bolded at the end of this name, and I'm like, oh, fine. But this is just the first brochure for like our subscribers, and they forgive us for our mistakes.
Yeah.
And then, but it looks like a good season. It's exciting.
Yeah.
So this is the brochure that I've been reading and
What's the movie
proofing.
series this year?
Movies this year are Home Alone, Thanksgiving Weekend, and then
How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Ooh, I like
Back
that.
to the Future, and I have it on good authority that we will have a DeLorean outside the hall. Back to the Future, and then Marvel Studios' Infinity Saga, and of course the Return of the Jedi.
Wow.
Because this year we're doing Empire Strikes Back. So that'll be fun.
I always
Yes,
thought
it will be.
I always thought that How to Train Your Dragon, the black
I need to
dragon,
save my money so I can buy tickets.
Right?
the black dragon looked, I always thought of Tuck when I saw that.
Yeah, he's cute. I love that. And I want to see the live action one. When does that come out?
It already has, I think.
Maybe I missed
No.
it. But
Oh, I think it's out now or very soon, because I was just looking at the Harkins website, and it's
on there.
Yeah, it's on there.
So it looks exciting. Danny Elfman's going to be here for our gala, so that's kind of cool.
We did some Star Wars thing some time ago, you know, in there in
Support your
Arkansas,
local symphony.
and they had an R2D2 on the stage, you know, driving around the stage.
We've been rewatching Andor. The
So
first season
good.
of Andor,
Oh, yeah.
in anticipation of the new season coming out, and I'm like, I forgot how good this show is. It is so good.
Yeah. I love that.
Everything and the characters, and I was telling Mark that the best thing about Andor, it's hard to say what the best thing is, but one of the great things about Andor is that nothing is explained.
Mhm.
You're just thrust into this world, and you're like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what's happening. But I'm going to watch it, and I'm invested, and like because it feels natural. You don't have any of that explanatory dialogue that I absolutely hate
Yeah.
in the movies and shows. Same thing with I can't say enough about The Pit on HBO. It's HBO Max. It's called Max now, but that is one of the best hospital shows I have ever seen, and it's 13 episodes now out of 15 total, and I'm going to be sad, but every episode just leaves you like, your soul just, it's so good. Noah Wiley's so good. He's all grown up, and he's so good.
When you're talking about Andor, I was watching those, you know, first time watching reaction things, and this girl was watching Rogue One, and she was like, "Oh, it's so good, it's so good," and I'm like, "That is why it is my absolute favorite of all the Star Wars movies." I mean, I was a big, you know, original Star Wars movie fan, kind of, but then the minute I saw Rogue One, I was like, "That is my absolute
The saddest
favorite."
thing about Andor is the second season that's coming out is that's it.
You know,
and I told Mark it has a definite end because of Rogue One. Like, for those of you who don't know or care, Cassian Andor is the main character in Rogue One, and so these 2 seasons are leading up to how he got there. And Rogue One has a very definite end. I won't spoil it for you, but you can't go on from there. You know, so
If you only ever watch one Star Wars movie, I think Rogue One is a good one because it has a definite beginning and it has a definite end. It's not like the middle of the story or,
Right.
you know, oh wait, something's going to happen
And this
later
is-
in the next movie.
And Andor is just the history of like
Yeah.
how he got to be who he is in that movie.
Yeah.
Not to
it's
say that
so
you
good.
don't understand
Well-
stuff if you watched other things.
Well, if,
It's
and
just,
if you've seen the original, the episode 4, New Hope.
I hate to call
thing.
that episode 4.
Yeah, but if you've seen that, of course, Rogue One leads directly into that. The begin, you know, the
Yeah,
end of
but-
the end of Rogue One is the beginning of A New Hope, and so.
But you don't
But-
need to
but-
watch those in order
yeah,
to enjoy
no.
Rogue One.
But so the thing I like about Rogue One is that there's no the whole, you know, Jedi Knight blah blah blah. You know, you have this feeling, of course, of the rebellion and blah blah blah, but it's not you know,
It's really
caught up in
a
all
political story.
that. Yeah, anyway, it's great. It's to me the best of all the Star Wars movies.
So, thank you for joining
Yes.
us. We're going to go now because I got to get ready to work again tonight.
Yes.
Oh,
I
Tchaikovsky,
gotta
you're
put
going to
my-
love.
I gotta put my eyes
Love,
on.
you're going to love the concert tonight. Thank you. Wait, hang on, wait. I'm still knitting.
I dented one of my eyes.
I dented one of my eyes. Wait.
Googly eyes.
Whoop, my eye fell.
I'm losing my sticky.
Yes. Okay. There we go.
Ta-da!
No, I lost the sticky.
Thanks for joining us again. Have a good
Yeah.
week. We'll see you next time.
Bye.